Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? I just woke up. I'm sure that's a surprise to most of you. And it is 3:49 a.m. Well, I didn't just wake up. I woke up about a half an hour ago. I never use this lip balm anymore because it's this like Christmas lip balm from Hemp's. I guess I should probably use it tonight then, since I never use it. Yeah, I fell asleep. I was just gonna rest my eyes for like a half an hour, and I was out for the count. And I had the most bizarre dream. I've been having like really bizarre dreams lately. It wasn't a nightmare though. I've been having nightmares a lot lately. It wasn't a nightmare, it was just a really bizarre dream, and I'll talk about it in a second, but I'm on my way to mail my HOA fees. I mail my HOA fees. Like, people are like, I can't believe you still write checks and send them to bills. I'm like, yeah, because the service for our HOA fee that they have picked for us to pay it online, is this not absolutely ridiculous? It charges us $20 to pay it online. And I'm like, $20 is $20. I'm sorry, but like, that's a dinner. You know what I mean? Like, I am not paying $20 to pay this bill online for like a service fee. I think that's ridiculous. So anyway, hi, how are you guys doing? I had a good day today. So I went to the casino with Valerie last night. I did really well, actually. I sat down and I was playing this machine next to her, and within like 5 minutes, I hit the major on this machine. I was betting $1, and I hit this major for $700. So then I just kind of played on what I had brought the rest of the night. Then I lost some money while I was playing these machines called lightning strikes. And then we went up to the front where we play these machines called hot hits. And I sat down and I got these like red sevens right across, which like I've never done that on this machine, and I got $200. Oh, I played Buffalo before that, and I got $300 bonus on Buffalo, but I think I played like another 100 down off of that machine. Anyway, I did good last night. I've actually done really well the last couple times I've gone. I got a hand pay, which is like where they have to pay you. I hit $2,400. That was on the Buffalo machine. That was like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times ago that I went. And then I hit, the last time I went, I left like $1,600 ahead. Just crazy. So I just need to stay away from the casino for a while, because I've like won every single time that I've gone, like the last 4 times. So I just need to not go for a while. And then I left last night, and Valerie texted me today, and she was like, she won $1,400 on this machine next to the ones that we were playing. So she and I both had a pretty good night last night. Apparently the casino was packed all weekend long, and I was talking to one of the guys that works there, and he was like, it was because of like, oh no. I was talking to this guy that this guy and his wife, they're so nice. This like older couple that I see there all the time, and I always like talk to the guy. He's hilarious. One night we played these machines next to each other forever, he and Valerie and I. He's really nice and real funny too. So anyway, he was like sitting next to me while I was playing the Buffalo machine, and he was telling me that they had told him that Saturday night was like packed. I think there was like a band there too, that it was like packed, and he said that they were saying it was because of like when people get their tax checks back, like the casinos are flooded. I don't know if that's the case or not. So anyway, but yeah, we had a good time. And so I got up today and went and got my coffee, and then I went to the bank to deposit my money that I had won from last night. And what else did I do? Something else I did like right away. There was some other errand I had to run. Well, I have this package to pick up from the post office, but every time I go to the post office, I got this thing like on Friday, I think. And every time I go, I'm like pointing to this because I have like here, I'll show you what they do. They put this in my post office box. It's like this card like this. But every time that I've gone, Saturday and today, we got like no ice in Indianapolis this year. It was like no ice or snow, and there are potholes all over the road. I don't know where they're coming from. But anyway, everywhere, what was I gonna say? Every time I come to the post office, the line is so long. I'm like, I cannot wait in this line today. So I'm gonna go tomorrow, and I'm gonna hopefully go earlier. Oh, I did all the bills today for the month. And then talked to Tanya Jean on the phone. So Tanya went this weekend to go visit her son in Florida and had a great weekend. And she got back today, this afternoon. So I talked to her on the phone for a while, and we were like, let's meet up later and talk, and get a fountain pop, because we hadn't seen each other all weekend long. And I guess I kind of like that lip balm. It's just not like a springy lip balm. I was thinking about this today, actually, because I had all these candles lit in the house and candle waxes and stuff, and I'm using all these like Christmas winter scents, like from Bath and Body Works, like s'mores and, you know, like all the Christmas scents that they have, winter and whatever. And then I had these candle waxes going that were from that Scentsy. Somebody sent me all these candle waxes from Scentsy, and I've been using them because they're like kind of like fallish winter scents, baking scents. So the whole house smelled good, but it was smelled like Christmas, you know, like baking for Christmas and or fall. And I was like, I need to start getting some spring scents. Made the bed real nice today, and I would say this, like, I'm more deliberately making it very, very nice. Like, every little, like, tucked in everything, instead of just, like, pulling the covers up like I did before. Sprayed it with that Caldera spray that I bought on Amazon. That's in my Amazon store if you guys want to look it up and find it. It's just called, like, Caldera. They have, like, several different ones. I think the one that I use is, it's like a room linen spray. I really believe in those linen sprays. I really, really like them. And they just, like, really freshen up your sheets and your bedding and stuff. And I spray it, like, all over the bed after I make the bed. And then I spray it in the room, too. And it just keeps it, like, really fresh and stuff. I'm actually ready for spring so I can open the windows during the day and, like, when it's kind of cooler, you know, in the early day, and have, like, some fresh air come in the house. We don't get a lot of, like, draft through our house because of kind of how our house is designed. But we'll get some, and it'll be nice. It'll, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, your house just gets kind of, like, dusty and drafty and all that kind of stuff, and I'm ready for it to, like, I'm ready for spring to kind of air out the house a little bit. So, yeah, so I did all that, and what else did I do? Listen to my audiobook. I'm really, I was just listening to it. Butcher Baker, I'm really into it, which is a true crime book club for this month. I don't know if I announced this or not, but we now have a title for our book club. It's the True Crime Book Club, with a period after it, in all lower cases. Oh, I know, Mel texted me the weather, and then I've been looking at the weather like 4 times a day in Arizona when I'm out there, and it's supposed to be like, Friday is supposed to be like, as of the last time I looked, like 86, and Saturday is supposed to be like 84, and then Sunday is supposed to be like 72, which is whatever, because let me tell you. Well, first of all, I'm real excited because I like to have like a pool day and be by the pool, you know? So if it's really warm, that'll give me like a pool day. But then, what was I gonna say? Like Sunday, I don't really care if it's cold, if that's like the pool day or not, because we'll probably just do some like shopping or whatever. And then Sunday night, because Mel has to work on Monday, so she doesn't stay up very late anyway. She goes to bed so early. She said she's been practicing staying up later because she knows I stay up really late. She's like, I know. I said, I know. And I'm not going to be able to take my naps this weekend because our schedules are so completely different. So I was like, it's whatever. We're so excited about this weekend. I can't wait. Oh my God. So anyway, but she was like, her husband is like looked up recipes to make me vegetarian lasagna, vegetarian chili on Sunday night. Isn't that so sweet? I'm so excited. So it'll be kind of like a chilly night anyway. So if it's like cooler outside, that's totally fine. You know what I mean? It'll be like totally apropos for that. So I did that. I got my coffee. I came home. I was talking on the phone to some friends, and then what did I do? Oh, I filmed the drama video, and then I filmed my review video, which I did these colognes from this website. So Frank, who watches, I think he watches my vlog, Frank has sent some really nice things in the last year. He sent like a bottle of cologne, and he sent like this whole package. It was so incredible. But one of the things that he sent were these colognes from this website called Imaginary Authors. I don't know how he found this. So it's a really cool concept. It's like, I actually, like, after I reviewed it, I was a little bit more impressed with the whole concept, because I was telling Tanya about it tonight, and Alex, I was telling him about. But, so each cologne is basically like a book, or based on like a book and an author, like basically an author's life, and then like this book that they wrote, right? The problem was the colognes were not as good as the concept, which is, I mean, I almost kind of felt bad saying that because it was so personalized, but like, if there was no concept with the colognes, there were really only two that I liked, and one that I probably would buy. And like when I was doing the video, I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy this one. And then when like I sprayed it again when the video was over, and I was like, it really smells like this replica cologne that I have called By the Fireside. So I was like, I don't know that I would. And the problem was that so many of them smelled like leather, and I don't love leather scents like in colognes that I wear. But this one cologne that I sprayed, it was like the very first one. I put it on my arm. Oh, I still have it there. It's horrible. It's like, it was so gross. And I think it kind of like made me a little sick or something. Like that smell, it was just like really like strong smell. But that was kind of a cool thing. I did a Peterisms video before that. Oh my God, the dogs today, they were so hilarious. They were jumping up and jumping down and wrestling, and squirrels were running, and Tukey, we call him Tucker Tukey. Tukey was barking, and but he wasn't like running over to the window. He was just like sitting in the chair barking, and so like, I had to film the video like 3 times. But I got laughing so hard. I was just like, okay, breathe. They're so sweet. So, yeah, I got that done, and then Alex was supposed to be home like 6:30, but he ended up like staying late and getting some stuff done, and so he got home. He left work about 7:30, and he was like, I'm gonna stop at Fresh Time. Do you want anything? And I was like, no, don't worry about it. Well, he used to make these really great salads. And he's like, I'm going to make my salad. So when he got home, he was like, I'm going to make my salads. Do you want one? And I was like, oh yeah, they're really good. But he puts chicken in his. He uses the George Foreman grill and makes chicken on his. But I was like, I don't need any chicken. So he made these big salads, which are so good. He uses like spinach and feta cheese and mozzarella. They're like pretty healthy though, and he put black beans in them this time. They were really good. And then he got veggie chips. He bought me a little bowl of veggie chips while I was working on the computer. He was so sweet. A little paper bowl of veggie chips. He loves those veggie chips. He's obsessed with them. Anyway, so he made us salads, and then we sat there and we were watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta while we ate our salads. I am so I used to watch all of those Housewives. I still enjoy it. It's so funny because I'm like, look at these condos back here. I pass them like all the time. Well, I pass them all the time anyway because they're close to like where Tanya lives. But like, I went to, like, I knew this, my friend's boyfriend lived there when we were in high school. He had, like, so it would have been when we were seniors because he was a year ahead of us. And I remember he moved there with a friend. And we, like, went to this, like, party or something there. I just remember it being, like, real weird. I always, like, whenever I see those condos, I always think of that. But anyway, here's this person running at 4:04 a.m. Better them than me. Yeah, I should get to the gym today. Okay, anyway, what was I gonna say? I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Damn it. Oh, you know, I used to love the Housewives. I really did. Like, I enjoyed watching them, and I still do enjoy watching them, you know? But I just don't have any kind of, like for me, I started watching them with Tanya, and Alex would watch them, but Alex never, like, he didn't watch Atlanta for a long time. I don't think he watched Atlanta until the season that was Phaedra's last season. And I had watched Atlanta forever, like, from the very beginning. Like, when Kim Zolciak was on and stuff like that. And I always watched New York with Tanya. And Alex and I watched Beverly Hills. That was his favorite. And I had watched, OC, like, from the very beginning with Tanya. Well, I wouldn't say from the very beginning, off and on. And, I would say now Alex's favorites, well, he watches all of them. No, that's not true. He doesn't watch Dallas, and he doesn't watch New York, and he doesn't watch New Jersey. But New York was one of my favorites. He loves Dallas. He loves Beverly Hills is his favorite. He loves the OC. He loves Atlanta. And he watches them religiously. But I just don't have the attachment that I used to have to him. I just don't love him anymore. He watches so much TV. What is this Love is Blind that everybody's talking about on Netflix? I don't know what this is, but I feel like I should be watching it because everybody's talking about it. Look at that when I bend that backwards. Okay, this camera, I'm like praying that it'll keep on working. I did buy a new camera. Did I tell you that on here? But anyway, because I broke the camera that I'm on right now. It's like the screen is shattered, but it's still working for now. So we'll just hope it keeps on working. But, so I can have two cameras. Maybe I'll just use this as my vlogging camera. I don't know. I'm like all over the place tonight in my head. But yeah, so we sat there and we watched The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think the other thing is, what I used to think was funny, now, like, having watched these women interact for so many years. Okay, in talking about the Housewives, I started telling a personal story that just... Anyway, you know, I just decided to edit that part out. So, you know, like, Alex has watched the Housewives for, you know, years and years and years. I still watch it, but, like, I kind of have an issue. I don't know. Like, you know, okay, this is the thing. This is where I started telling the personal story. I think what makes for good reality television, I feel like these women have been through so much with each other at this point that it's like, okay, on one hand, it's like you want to have good reality television, correct? But on the other hand, it's like, but don't you want these people to grow and thrive as human beings? Okay? But if they grow and they thrive as human beings, then we don't have good reality television. And you know what? I was thinking about this tonight. It's like interesting, like with Andy Cohen, who I love Andy Cohen. I think he is so good looking, but it's like, you know, he always kind of chastises them in the reunion for these things that they get into and who's right and who's not right and why they're like blowing things out of proportion. But as like the executive producer of the show, it's like, okay, well, if they all grew as human beings and they didn't act this way, you wouldn't have a show. Nobody would watch a bunch of women getting along. Like, you want them to kind of not get along a little bit, right? So I was sitting there thinking about that tonight because I feel like Nene Leakes, who is somebody that I like, But she's not very nice. She's not very nice on the show anymore. And you know, I think like what I thought was funny 5 or 6 years ago, I think is just kind of mean sometimes now. And I think Nene Leakes, if you watch the show and you take it for face value, I think she's a hurt person. You know, that like, I think, you know, the saying like hurt people. And I was watching it tonight, and you know, there was this whole storyline about Eva, who, if you don't know who Eva is, she was like one of the winners of America's Next Top Model. But there was like this whole storyline that her and her fiance, this was like 2 years ago, that they didn't have any money and they didn't have a house and like all this stuff that's, anyway, it's all superficial crap, right? Which, I mean, obviously this is the Real Housewives, so it matters to them because they're always like shouting about, you know, what they wear and all that kind of stuff. But she's walking into Eva, 2 years later, okay? She's walking into Eva's baby shower and she's making all this commentary on not knowing if Eva even has a house, and just, you know, she's heard rumors that Eva and her husband just float from box to box and it was unnecessary. And I thought, like, that's where I just cannot, like, get real attached to those shows anymore. There's just, back in the day, I loved it. I ate it up. And I understand people that like it. You know, it's escapism. I totally get it. It's no different than me doing drama on beauty channels, you know? I mean, let's just be for real. I mean, that's kind of reality television, you know? I mean, it is, you know? I totally understand it, but I can't buy into it anymore. Like, it's not fun and enjoyable for me to watch anymore, you know? And I think this too, like if you watch the reunion shows, the reunions always seem so real to me that then the stuff that happens on the show, they seem very, very hurt by, right? Like they seem really hurt by the stuff that's happened on the show. Like Nene on last year's, was it last year's? I think it was last year's reunion. It was either last year's or the year before. Like, she was so checked out and so kind of just rude to everybody. I honestly didn't think that she'd ever come back on the show again. And, you know, I know, like, her husband has cancer and it's really tough. And she just was so cruel to people on the show. And these were people that really cared about her. And then I think there's just like this expectation that because they're all on this show that they get along and they're friends. I don't know. I remember, I think it was when Survivor first came out, the first season of Survivor. And I think Survivor was like one of the very first reality shows. I think it was Survivor. Whatever one of the very first reality shows was, Amazing Race, something like that. I remember asking, so I was really good friends with the doctor that I worked at in treatment. And I said to her, I said, we used to talk about books and all kinds of stuff. And we were talking about TV shows. And I said, are you going to watch Survivor? And she was like, no. And I said, why not? And she was like, because I don't like where this is headed. Like, it's starting with this. And she was like, flash forward 20 years from now. I think about this all the time, and she said this to me. And she's like, flash forward, you know, 20 years from now, and it's like people are going to be showing like their most intimate details and everything about their life on TV just for fame. And I'm like, damn, she was right, you know, like, so true. It's so true. That's exactly what has happened. I mean, to some degree, it's almost like people will sell their soul for fame through reality TV. It's like if you get on reality TV, now it's not even good enough to get on reality TV. Now it should get on reality TV and you have personality enough and enough catchphrases, or you're good looking enough, or something about you is noticeable, you know, that you then become a reality star like you become famous in the reality star world, because there's not like enough room out there for all of the people. Maybe it was The Real World, because I used to watch The Real World when it first came out too. But there's not, like, enough. No, because The Real World would have come out before I got sober, so that couldn't have been that. But I love the show, The Real World. I watched it a lot for, like, the first... Like, do you know how weird that is? That's been around forever. Like, you know what? Like, they still... Like, do they still have The Real World? I think they do. But just to put this in perspective, okay? I'm going to pull in here because I want to see what the first season that came out that was in New York with Heather and all them. I used to watch it all the time. The guy with the long hair, can't think of his name, that was in the band. And then the model, his name was Eric something. And then Heather, and then her friend Julie, that was from the South. Like, they would be my age. So, like, that puts that in perspective, how old that show is. The first season of The Real World. Do you guys remember that? Is The Real World still around? Like, that is crazy when you think about it. Like, all those MTV reality shows. That was, like, the first reality show on MTV. I want to look and see what year it was. Like, I got sober in 94, so it feels like it would be, like, 92, 91 maybe, something like that. I don't know. This will be weird. Real World Season 1. I'm like even scared to look, kind of. Year. 1992, I was right. Oh my god, that's so weird. So I was 20 years old when The Real World came out, and I'm 47 now. Like, that is crazy. There's that article, where are they now? Should we see where they are? See what they look like then and now. Okay. See what The Real World Season 1 cast looks like then and now, 1992. This was in 2017. Okay. Narek Nice, yeah. Had an ample MTV career. But in recent years, he's gone off the grid. He married his wife, Iona, in Vietnam, and together they had a child. They now live in Hawaii. Iona kind of... my book. That's how fast I listen to it. He looks good. He has like a beard and stuff. If I show this, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. You can't really see it. He looks the same, but just older. Becky Blanchard. Oh my god, I forgot all about her. Becky may have gotten a rep on the show for being moody, but these days she's sticking to her artistic roots. She lives in San Francisco and is still pursuing her singing songwriting career. Heather, after setting her dreams on becoming a rapper aside, Heather now hosts The Happy Hour with Heather B, a YouTube show in which she interviews people and, of course, makes cocktails. I'm going to look it up right now and see. Oh, yeah. Come on, book. The Happy Hour. Here it is. Let's see what she's got. She's got 22,000 subscribers, and the last... she interviewed, or she talked about Mark Cuban 2 days ago, and it got 153 views. Girl, on my show. I'd love to have her on my show. I love her from back in the day. I have her on my show. Like, I have a show. Does it say where she's living? Oh, Norman Corpy. He was the gay guy on the show. Norman's been pushing the limits and breaking open boundaries since 1992. Not only was he the first openly LGBTQ cast member on the show, but in his day since Real World, his art has been featured in the Guggenheim. He's worked as a producer on films, developed inventions like the Aero Tray, and worked for both Disney and Nickelodeon. Well, he's done quite a bit, hasn't he? Julie Gentry. Aww. Since her MTV days, Julie has pretty much gone off the grid. While she's remained friends with the female cast members of the show, she disappeared from the spotlight when she married in 1998, had children, and moved to Alabama. So she got married in 1998. Oh, come on! Stupid book. Which means she has like 20-year-old children. Kevin Powell. As of 2017, Kevin has penned 12 books and gone on to become a critically acclaimed poet, author, political advocate, and public speaker. That doesn't surprise me at all. Do you remember him from the show? Next year, he plans on releasing his 13th book, a biography about the life and death of rapper Tupac. Andre Comey. I feel like they called him something different on the show, did they? He looks old. After admitting in an interview to people, I mean, so do I, so let's just be for real, okay, if they put me up on this article. After admitting in an interview to people, if I ever had to do it over again, I wouldn't. Regarding the reality show, Andre is still the rock star that he aimed to be on the series. He's in a new alternative country band called River Rouge, which he promotes on Facebook. And that's it.
Loki felt like he was all alone.
Now I gotta rewind this book. My life! Put it on the radio, that way it doesn't do it. Okay. Wonder what my life would be like had I been on the original cast of The Real World. Well, I wasn't, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But do you ever wonder stuff like that about yourself? Like, if I was on the original cast of The Real World, what would my life look like now? Or Survivor? The guy that won the first Survivor, he was gay, wasn't he? And he was like my age. He got like, didn't he get into some trouble with the money or something like that? I don't remember. All right, so my dream that I had last night, it wasn't a nightmare. My dream was so weird. I don't know why I felt like it was so weird, but it was. Well, first of all, it was at my dad's house. And I rarely have dreams at my dad's house that like occur at my dad's house. In fact, I don't remember the last one that I had. But it also took place in my bedroom at my dad's house that I grew up in. So my parents, my dad and my stepmom, their master bedroom is on the ground floor. Like the kitchen and the living room and everything was like over here, and then the master bedroom was at the other end of the house. And then I had basically like my dad's office was upstairs, and then the guest bedroom, and then it was like my bedroom was at the end. And I had my own bathroom and everything. So it's like once you went into my room, it was like its own kind of like apartment. And it was kind of designed like that. Because my dad built the house. And so when he built the house, it was like, for later down the road, like, you could have, you know, that it was kind of like its own, like, little quarters up there or whatever. So it wasn't necessarily expected that that's where I was going to move in, but by the time that the house was done, I was a little bit older, so that's where I moved in. And I loved that room. Although, interestingly enough, I think I did a lot of drinking in that room, you know. And I think, like, because I was so far and away, like, nobody really knew what I was doing or anything, you know. But yeah, I loved that room. So, in my dream, I had, like, 3 other friends over, but, like, I was, like, at the time, and I was in high school or college, like, in the dream. I was, like, young in the dream, and I knew I was young. And I was cleaning out, like, my bathroom. Like, my bathroom had, like, just crap everywhere, and I was, like, organizing it and making it nice. I got in these trash bags and whatever. And I went downstairs, and, like, these friends of mine were, like, in the bedroom, and they were just kind of, like, hanging out and talking. So, like, okay, when I grew up, when you walked in, like, my bed was immediately to the right. It's hard to explain this room, because the room was really awkward shaped. And I had, like, windows on the side, and I had windows straight out that overlooked the lake. So, and my bed sat back against this wall, and then there was like one of those papasan chairs in the corner, you know, from Pier 1, and I had closet, and then the room went straight out, and where the room went straight out, I had like a desk at the very end, and then it went L-shaped down, and then I had a TV on a little table there. So, I went downstairs in my dream to go get trash bags, and I was like talking to my dad and my stepmom in the kitchen, and then I went back upstairs, and when I came back upstairs, now the room was different. Like where it used to spread out and there was a closet, it was like all this big open room now, and there was another bed set up there, and I was like, what's going on? And one of my friends was like, you know, like, I'm gonna move in here, and blah, 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 blah. Now, okay, what's interesting about this is that this friend of mine from back then is actually a friend of mine today that I didn't know back then. I actually didn't meet until about, when did I meet him? Like 6 years ago? And there's no attraction whatsoever, okay? So, in this dream, like, they're all pushing him moving in with me because, and apparently in my dream, he was, like, living downstairs, like, in the kitchen, and he didn't want to live in the kitchen anymore or something. I don't know. So he was like, I think I'm just gonna, can't I just come and move up in here with you for a while? And I was like, no, I kind of like my privacy, I like my place. And so anyway, then something happened to my phone, and my phone was like screwed up, and my friend was trying to fix it, and he was like, okay, well, we have to leave. And I was like, no, don't leave, because I didn't want them leaving me with just my friend, because I thought he was going to convince me to stay and like live in this room with me. And so they left, and then all of a sudden it's like raining and pouring and thunderstorming, which is really weird because it was thunderstorming like crazy out tonight and pouring down rain. You can't see it, but it like really rained hard while I was asleep. So that must have been that. But in my dream, it like went from like being light in the room to being like very, very dark and like thunderstorms and stuff outside. And it was night all of a sudden, and I was in bed with him, and he was like, I've always wanted to be with you, and I just wanted to be in the room with you because I've been in, it was so weird. It was like, I've been in love with you and all this kind of stuff. And, yeah, so it just was, and I was like, not interested. And it was so weird because like in the dream, he's like saying all this stuff that like he would never say to me. And honestly, I can't wait to tell him that I have this dream because it's so funny. But, so it just was kind of a crazy dream. I don't know. And then I was like, in the dream, I was like, no, like, I don't want you living here. Like, you need to like just move out. And then he got like real mad. So anyway, that was my weirdo dream. And then I woke up, and it was thunderstorming, and it was thunderstorming so loud outside. I mean, it was like so loud. And weirdly enough, that's like when Boo Radley, I don't know what happened. Like, he's been so calm lately. Well, today he ran out after this dog. He like took out, and there was somebody walking their dog, and like we had like this big field next to our condo, like, well, next to our neighbor's condo. And he like saw this dog, and he like took off, and the ground was like mushy, and I had to like run after him, and I was like, Boo Radley, come here. Boo Radley, come here. He like, I was like, treats. He finally went, and he came running over. But what was I gonna say? Oh, like in the past, he would always get so scared about the thunderstorms. This was so weird, you guys, tonight. He would always get so scared about thunderstorms, the sound of thunder cracking, and all that kind of stuff. And tonight he didn't. It was the weirdest thing. And my battery is dying. I cannot believe it. I thought both of these batteries were fully charged. I thought they were both fully charged. It was so much junk in this bag. Alex was making a comment about that the other day too. Oh, my lip gloss. I'm gonna see if it'll go, because it's at 21 minutes and 45 seconds, so I'm gonna see if it'll end up going all the way, but, because I'm kind of like, I'm probably 3 blocks from a strip mall to turn into, so I'll either hit the 23.5 minute mark or 23, it's like 23 minutes and 30 some seconds, 39, 37, 42, it's like real weird. But anyway, so, yeah, but like, he is like so calm. Like tonight he was so calm about the thunderstorms, and back in the day, he would like climb all over me and be scared to death, and oh, the lightning just went off, so we'll be getting thunderstorms here in a second. But back in the day, it was so crazy, and like today, he just was laying between the pillows, completely calm. His head like popped up, but that was it. Like he wasn't even that scared about it. I think he stood up maybe for a second, but it wasn't like back in the day. My God, he was a nervous wreck back in the day about the thunderstorms, but not today. So I don't know. Little guy's so cute. Tuki's so cute. Tuki was out when I left the house tonight. He was so asleep. So tired. Both of them were so cute. I can't believe it's still going. Well, I'm getting ready to pull up into the strip mall over here where I do my Dunkin' Donuts reviews anyway. I haven't even told you about Tanya Jean yet. Seeing Tanya Jean tonight. Yeah, so I'm eating my salad. I'll tell you this and give you. Oh, it's gonna literally stop in like 5 seconds. But I'm eating my salad, watching the Real Housewives of Atlanta, talking to Alex, and Tanya texted me, and she was like, "Hey." Okay, I pulled into Speedway. I will tell you one good thing I realized about getting a new camera is that I now have 3 batteries instead of 2. Because the battery comes with the camera, you get it, right? So anyway, the guy when I was buying the camera, he was like, "Do you have memory cards?" I was like, "Oh, do I have memory cards?" You have no idea. I should have told him about my dog eating my memory cards, because Tucker likes to eat the memory cards. But anyway, and so anyway, I was sitting there and Tanya texted me and she was like, "Have you eaten dinner?" And I said, "I'm actually eating right now." And I said, "Why?" Because that meant that she was asking me to go to dinner somewhere, right? Like the one night that we're actually going to think about, it was early, going to dinner is, I just assumed that since she had been out of town over the weekend, Eric stayed here and watched the kennel and stuff, so Tanya could go down to Florida. And so like the one weekend, or the one night that I'm assuming that she's not going to want to go do anything because she'd seen Eric, so anyway, she fell asleep. And she thought she and Eric were gonna eat afterwards, and she's like, "I fell asleep on the couch, I was completely out, and Eric was so hungry, and he didn't want to wake me up because I was sleeping so peacefully, so he made himself some tomato soup. And then I got up and I haven't eaten, and now I'm hungry, and I want biscuits and gravy from IHOP." I was like, "Well, okay, I'll go to IHOP with you." So I finished my salad, and we went to IHOP. I may have had a dessert. We may have shared the cinnamon crunch toast pancakes that they have there, and they may have been absolutely fantastic and tasted like a Cinnabon. They are maybe one of the finest things I've ever experienced. If there is a heaven, I know on the menu at the buffet in heaven that there is cinnamon toast crunch pancakes, because they were so delicious. So anyway, and then I had coffee, and I got a coffee to go too. Look at their coffee cups at IHOP. Aren't these so cute? Our waiter was so nice there. He was so fantastic. So Tanya and I sat around and we just kind of talked. She told me all about her weekend and everything that she did and how much fun it was. And she asked me about my weekend and we just caught up and it was fun. She was like, "We haven't gone to IHOP for a long time together, because we used to go to IHOP after meetings a lot." And I was like, "I know, I miss it." I wouldn't say that of the places like that, IHOP is my favorite. We still have a Perkins in our area that's open. It's just not the Perkins that I used to go to, but Perkins is pretty good. I really enjoy just kind of no-name diners. Like, 24-hour diners that are open. Actually, in Anderson, Indiana, where I go gamble at Hoosier Park, there's a donut place in there and it is not in the casino. It's like down the street. It's like in the side, and it's like by a gas station. It's like next to nothing. It's this little small donut shop that's open 24 hours, and it's called Deluxe Donuts. It is fantastic. The donuts are so cheap. They are so good. And whenever I go in there, there's always this guy, and he's sitting at the counter, and he's eating. They have sausage biscuits and gravy, and he's eating sausage biscuits and gravy, and drinking a coffee and having like an orange juice or something and a donut. But he's always sitting there like reading the paper. It's very sweet, and I love that little place. I love diners like that. I love Waffle Houses. You know, and I think part of like being in recovery is you go to a lot of those places, you know, for coffee afterwards. One, because they're open, you know, late when meetings are done, and two, they're affordable. So yeah, it's nice. It's starting to rain. I can tell we're gonna get a downpour here in a little bit. I'm just feeling it. But we used to go to those places a lot. I love Denny's. I don't love Denny's as much as I used to love Denny's, though. Alex and I used to go to Denny's almost every night after we would. If we didn't go to Steak and Shake, we went to Denny's. And that was when I wasn't a vegetarian, and I would get the moons over my hammy, and we would get seasoned fries to start. And I would either get fries, seasoned fries, we would get seasoned fries with cheese, and it came with like bacon and stuff on it. And I would dip them in ranch. And if you get their seasoned fries, not their regular fries, their seasoned fries are absolutely incredible. And then I would either get, like, with my moons over my hammy, a side of fries, or I would get hash browns covered in cheese. Which Tani and I also got a side of tonight and sure. Delicious. But I ate most of those. Did you ever get hash browns smothered and covered back in the day? That means cheese and gravy. Oh my God, it's so good though. It's so good. Go into like a Waffle House, it's like $1.50, and ask for hash browns smothered and covered. Although like at Waffle House, their hash browns are literally like just the square hash browns they put in the thing, but they're so good. It's 43 degrees outside and it feels like it's like 65 degrees. So yeah, we had a good time, and then we drove around for a bit and talked some more, and then I took her home because she was like, we were gonna go all the way and drive through this little town, and she's like, can you turn around up here? She's like, I'm getting so tired. She's like, I've been going since like 8:30 this morning, and I was like, yeah. So I took her home. Oh, and then I was just gonna go vlog right then and listen to my audiobook, because I was kind of like, I'm up, like whatever. At that point, it was like 11:15, I think. And like after I like got done with IHOP, I got so tired. And so I texted Alex and I was like, I'm gonna come home and lay down for a little bit with you. And he was just getting ready to go to bed. He was like, okay, babe. So I came home and I was talking to him and laying in bed with the dogs. And I set my alarm for an hour because I was afraid that I wouldn't get up. I was just gonna lay down there for a half an hour. Sometimes if I lay down and I can feel myself like falling asleep, like I'll get up and go like, you know, get out of the house because I don't want to like sleep through the night. And honestly, my plan had been tonight that I didn't want to like get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. My plan had been that I wanted to vlog early, listen to like an hour of my audiobook. I really thought that I would get my audiobook done today, and I still have a lot left. I have like 2.5 hours left of this audiobook. I also realized that when I was trying to figure out how much I had left to listen to, that I did the math wrong. Imagine that, me doing the math wrong. Oh well. It's really good though. Butcher Baker is really good. So my plan had been that I was gonna like vlog early tonight, and then I was gonna like listen to an hour of my audiobook, and then I was gonna be like home by like 1 and go to bed and then get a good night's sleep. That didn't happen. But I had a nice nap. The nap was good. It was fun. Oh man. Dream. tomorrow. I think I have a hair appointment this week. I found a Post-it note that said like 11, no, it didn't say 11:05. It said like 3:05, 11 a.m. And I was like, okay, like I don't ever book anything at 11 a.m. unless it's a hair appointment. So that would make sense that it was Thursday. But if that's the case, I've got so much to do on Thursday before we leave on Friday. So we'll just have to like figure that out. But I kind of do want to get my hair cut because I was noticing that like up here is like really, really long. And then Wednesday I have my training, which I've consistently gone to. This will be my 3rd week in a row that I have shown up, if I show up. I'm so proud of myself because I wasn't doing real well for a while there showing up to my training appointments. So I've gotten back on track. I just need to start going to the gym other than just my training appointments. Like that would be my goal this week, to at least go one other time to the gym. And especially going to Phoenix, like that's gonna be a hard thing to do. So I would either have to do it Tuesday night. Well, I can't do it Thursday night. I could do it Thursday, but I've got so much stuff going on Thursday. I should have gone tonight instead of eating the Cinnamon Toast Crunch pancakes at IHOP. Oh my God, they were so good. Oh, they were so good. Oh, I started Mindhunter on Netflix. Because I thought, like, Mel is watching it, so I thought it would give us something to talk about with the Netflix shows as well. And because she had, like, suggested maybe we watch a couple of those episodes. Well, it's not that I'm so excited. But anyway, so I started watching that. I like went in to I went in to see what episode I had left it at, because I originally started watching it when Alex started watching it, and he watched the whole first season and loved it. I got very, very bored with it. It's interesting watching it now, having read Mindhunter, because they allude to a lot of the things that are in the book. Like him talking about being in Detroit, like that was a part of the book that he discusses, his training, all this kind of stuff. There's a lot that's fictionalized, but it's a fictionalized telling. It's not John Douglas in the book. I can't remember what the guy's name is, Borden or something like that. But anyway, the guy from Looking, that Jonathan Groff guy that is like Leah Michele from Glee's best friend. Did you know that in real life? Anyway, he was on that HBO show about the 4 gay friends called Looking. That was fantastic. It's probably the most real account of like a group of gay guys, friends, that I've ever witnessed in my life. Like, I feel like it's a really true telling of that. I thought that show was so well done. Especially because I think it focused on older gay guys. Not like old or, you know, like 70s or 80s, which that would be interesting too. But I think like, because like my age group, it like addressed like, you know, like that Dominic guy in it was older. So anyway, what was I gonna say? So yeah, so Jonathan Groff is in Mindhunter. I'm like watching it closer now, because when I watched it the first time, I was just kind of watching it, you know, for a Netflix series. But now I'm like watching it because I read Mindhunter. It's good. I like it. I actually found myself last night when I started it before I went to bed. I got like halfway through the first episode. I actually had watched the first 3 episodes and part of the 4th episode, like half of the 4th episode. So I'm going to catch up to that. But I have to say that when I was watching it, I found myself not wanting to like turn it off and go to bed. Like, I thought it was really good. I think, like, you know, for me originally, I thought it was going to be really, really scary and kind of suspenseful. And since it wasn't that, I kind of was like, bored with it a little bit, you know. But I didn't really know what it was when I went into it. Somebody told me, I did not know this, Mel is going to die if she hasn't seen it. I'll probably tell her, and she's seen everything. She knows everything. Whenever I tell her, she's always like, yeah, I already saw that. But the Iceman Chronicles, or the Iceman Confessions or whatever, is on Netflix. It's like a 3-part series about Richard Kuklinski, who, like, she was the one that picked that book that we read about the Iceman, who was a mafia contract killer. And I would really like to watch that. So if that's on there, the interviews, I'm going to watch that. sometime. I don't know when. Probably after I finish Mindhunter. I've got so many shows to watch. But I've been doing good with the shows this year. I know that sounds corny. I was telling Alex that. He was like, you're really proud of yourself for watching these Netflix shows, aren't you? I said, listen. I said, I do not ever take time for myself to watch these shows. It was interesting because he was like, well, what show would you recommend to people? And I said, oh, that's a good question. Like, I don't know. Like, I've seen so many good shows this season. Like, Don't F With Cats, I thought was, like, if you like true crime, it was probably the best true crime documentary I've ever seen. But AJ and the Queen with RuPaul was really, really endearing. Like, that was a great show. Like, I didn't want that show to end at the end. Like, that was a really, really good show. AJ and the Queen. He just watches shows so quick. I need to watch Schitt's Creek because he hasn't shut up about it. But I'm watching The Good Place. The Good Place. So, I don't know. Did you hear of that? They started teasing out the next American Horror Story, and Macaulay Culkin is in it, and Kathy Bates is going to be in it. It's going to be a good season. I'm really excited about it. Did you ever see Party Monster with Macaulay Culkin, where he played Michael Alig? Okay, and then years after that, there was a documentary. It's actually on Netflix, and I can't remember what it's called. It's something like Party Days or Glory Days or something like that. But it's about the life of Michael Alig. From, like, being on Geraldo. So if you don't know who Michael Alig is, Michael Alig was, like, this party promoter in New York City. He was from South Bend, Indiana, which is where I'm from. No, I'm not from South Bend, but I'm from Indiana. South Bend's about 3 hours north. 3.5 hours north. It's called the Region. That's what they call it in Indiana. But he's from South Bend, and he went to New York City, and he became a party promoter, and he became super, super famous. He did mostly his parties at a club called Limelight, and he was like the one that basically invented the club kids back in the day. And he was friends with people that are still around today, like Kenny Kinney, and like Amanda Lepore, who's like super famous today. And so I can remember watching like the Geraldo shows and stuff with my friend, my roommate back in the day, the one that lives in Germany today. And we were kind of like weirdly obsessed with all of it and followed it very, very closely. And so anyway, as I think many people were of that era, I think that wasn't anything unique to us. I think we watched it and we're like, oh my God, what is going on with all of this? This is so cool, you know? And you would see bits and pieces of it in Indianapolis at like raves and things like that. But not on that level of these people just like truly living their authentic lives, right? But it was saturated with drugs. It was completely saturated with drugs. And Michael Alig killed this drug dealer guy named Angel, who was supposedly like part of the scene and whatever. And Party Monster, which was the book that was actually written by James St. James, who is like his really good friend, who's now on like YouTube and is friends with the RuPaul drag queens girls and all that kind of stuff, a lot of them. He wrote a book about everything that happened called Party Monster, and they turned it into a movie, and Macaulay Culkin played Michael Alig in the movie. So fast forward to this documentary that's called like Glory Days or something, and it's about Michael Alig and what happened, and like the end of it is him getting out of like Rikers Island, where he had been for like all these years for killing this guy. And he doesn't know like what a cell phone is or like Wi-Fi or anything. And he and James St. James sit there and they watch the movie Party Monster. And Michael Alig like picks it apart and stuff like that. Like it's interesting to see him watching Party Monster. But then apparently, well, I did see he and this other guy, I can't remember what the guy's name is, but they had Wallpaper, I think. They had like a YouTube show that they did, and they would talk about all that kind of stuff. But apparently, like, it got real weird. I got some messages from some people because they knew that I had talked about him on here before, that it got like real weird, and I don't know if it still exists or not. I don't know if he still has his show. whatever. He was doing artwork at some point. I read some article that people were like kind of worried that he was become this like kind of like cult phenomenon again, and you know, that like start parties in New York, but that doesn't really exist anymore the way that it did back then. It's interesting when you watch this documentary because it kind of talks about that era of New York City and how like it wasn't just like with Michael being arrested and stuff like that. It was like Wall Street and people having a lot of money, and people were going out and staying out late and all this kind of stuff. And then like now, like the economy is different and New York is different, and Giuliani came in and he like cleaned out the bars and like got rid of all of that stuff. So the clubs are completely different now. And people are going to like wine bars and lounges, which is so true. I mean, it's like in Indianapolis, there like really are no clubs. I mean, there's like 2 or 3 clubs downtown, like clubs. But there's no like big gay clubs like back in the day that, you know, that we used to like, oh my God, they'd be packed on a Saturday night or a Friday night. And they were so much, there's nothing like that here, you know? And here comes the rain. I know you guys like the rain because it's soothing for you. I filled my windshield wiper fluid with this new, like this windshield wiper fluid that I purchased. Do you remember that? And it was like the all-protectant bug spray or whatever. I don't know, but it's like coating my windshield. It's doing like something really weird to my windshield. I wish I had never put it in there. I couldn't figure it out one night. I was like, I think I need new windshield wipers. But it was like the same thing happened to the back as happened to the front. And I was like, that's not the windshield wipers, because my windshield wipers are like, can you hear them? Like, let me turn them all the way up. I mean, you can hardly hear them. They're like perfect. And they're in perfect condition, and so is the back. I was like, that's the windshield wiper fluid. So anyway, but apparently New York is a completely different world today, you know, than, I mean, obviously, but it's obviously, apparently New York is today a very different world than it was, you know, back then when people were going out to clubs till 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, after parties, you know, raging and all that kind of stuff. It's just a very different world than it was back then. And so like, even if you wanted to recreate that scene, it wouldn't be really possible, is what a lot of these people were saying. I don't know, it's interesting. Sad, real sad story, you know? Horrible tragedy when if you don't know the story, at least watch the movie. I wish I had read the book first instead of watching the movie, because since I know the case, I have absolutely no desire to read the book. I don't know, I might read that book. I think James St. James has written a couple books. I actually think for some weird reason, I feel like he's written a children's book. I don't know why I think that. But, I would maybe read the book. I don't know, I would have to see. If the book is different than the movie, I don't know. The rain is soothing, isn't it? Oh my God, I'm almost at the end. Well, listen, I'm gonna, because I want to listen to like an hour of my audiobook, so I'm gonna get off here. But, I hope you guys are having, I was all over the place tonight, wasn't I? I hope you guys are having an amazing, what is today? Oh, it's Tuesday. I hope you're having an amazing Tuesday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, don't have other plans. Make the most of your day. Do something fun today. Do something productive. Do something that when you look back on your life 5 or 10 years from now, you'll be really proud of yourself for doing. And yeah, enjoy your day. Start a new Netflix series. Start a new book. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you do your daily positive affirmations and you say, are you ready? I love you. You're talented. You're beautiful. You're handsome. You're funny. You're important. You matter. You are a good person. You are deserving of good things. You are, did I say worthy? You're worthy. And you are loved. You are loved. You are loved. And today is going to be an amazing day, filled with laughter and fun and great opportunities. And 2020 is going to be your year. It's going to be a fantastic year. And you're going to achieve so many of your dreams and goals this year. And this year is going to be filled with success. It kind of feels weird saying that sometimes because, like, we're in 2020, you know? So I think I have to change that one at the end. Anyway, and most importantly, make sure that you let other people know how much they mean to you today. Just pick somebody out at random and say, you know what? Oh my God, it's going to stop. Hold on. I'm literally right at the very end and it's going to stop. Anyway, let other people in your life know how much they mean to you today. Pick somebody out at random. Maybe today we should pick somebody that is not a family member or somebody close to us. Maybe we should just pick out somebody completely random that we interact with on a regular basis, like, you know, the postman or a neighbor or a barista, Starbucks or your local coffee place, or maybe the clerk, cashier at the grocery store, or somebody that you just see on a regular basis, you know. And just say, you know what, you are always so nice and friendly. Unless they aren't, and then just smile and pick somebody else. And practice random acts of kindness. Practice random acts of kindness, and don't tell anyone, as the book Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and It's All Small Stuff says. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, put a blue heart in the comment section below. A big blue heart. Give this video a thumbs up and make sure that you're still subscribed. Excuse me. I love you, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Love ya.